keep in mind is that a lot of things we talk about in here, you may not feel like they're applicable at the time. You may hear some things and you think, well, what does this have to do with me right now? We want you to keep in mind that everything we tell you, you can't utilize right away, but it's something you're going to be able to refer to in the future. And we kind of like to refer to that as, this class is kind of like a toolbox. We give you a lot of information. If you don't use it right away, pack it away and keep it by your side because you're going to use it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about fiscal management and some money-related things. So keep that in mind. There's a blood drive today and tomorrow. Do we have any blood donators in here? That is today and tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Good job. Today and tomorrow in the University Center. If you want to donate blood, you can do that. I'm sure they'll have a t-shirt or some kind of goodie for you. That's all we have for the announcements. If you have any questions when we get finished, let me know. Haley Vincent and Megan Brady, make sure you come up when we get done. Brian Searcy. Yep.
Yep. All right, good morning. Good morning. We're talking about money today. A college education is expensive. You all know that. And but it's also an investment. Anytime you invest in anything, invest in a home, invest in stocks, mutual funds, anything like that, it's important to know the cost. It's important to evaluate everything. Does anybody know what it costs per credit hour at NSU? What you're paying in-state? Does anybody know? Yeah, very good. For a whole 3-hour class, $438, a little over that. You're paying $146.15 per credit hour. So, at a minimum, you're paying just under $440 for a 3-hour class. And that doesn't include any kind of special fees or anything like that for an online class or your book or anything. If you get an online biology class that's 4 credit hours, you're pushing nearly $1,000 just for that one class. So when you think about not going to class or maybe not studying as much as you should, it really you can understand that you're paying a lot for this. And if you don't pass, if you don't do well as you should, the costs are great. So as we think about your college education, you might spend $30,000, $45,000 on this whole thing. It's a huge investment. And as we talk about it this week, it's important to evaluate, do the costs outweigh the benefits, or do the benefits outweigh the costs? Is this worth it to you? We talked about last week, why are you here? And I asked you to think about that. This week, I want you to think about, are the benefits outweighing the costs in the long run? For most everyone, the answer is yes. The benefits are great, and it's worth the process. So as we look at your fiscal management, and as a college student, managing your money, think about the big picture, about why you're here, getting an education that will help you get a job later on that you would enjoy, and that will set you with stable employment for life, for the most part. So it's not without its, we know the news reports and the stories that are out there. It can be difficult to find a job, even with a college degree, depending on where you want to live. In many ways, you got to have more than a college degree. You got to have those communication skills. You got to be able to work with people, work with individuals, and use your strengths. So all of this is connected. So without further ado, I want to bring you Sue Catron, Director of Business Affairs.
Thank you, Brian. I'm pleased to be here to talk about money today. Money's generally a pretty exciting topic for people. Wanted to let you know you got this survey. No need for a name, but if you wouldn't mind filling that out and turning it in at the end, we'd appreciate the information. I have a picture up here of Sam Bradford. 6-year contract, $78 million. $50 million guaranteed. In one sense of the word, you don't think you're much like him. But in another sense, you're very, very much like him. In 4 years, when you get out of here, you're going to be walking into a career where you've got a pretty good idea of what your income's going to be for the next several years. You've got a financial plan, and you're going to be making some decisions about what your expenses are going to be related to that. What I'd like to talk about today is that financial plan begins now. Some of you have already started it. Some of you already know what you're going to be majoring in. So we've got some people here who are going to talk about, one, some of the ways that you can explore what your revenue is, what you might be aiming for there. The other side of it is managing some of those expenses, and Eileen King is going to be bringing that information for you. Financial freedom is the same as personal freedom. If you've got your finances in a row, then you can do whatever it is you want to do. That doesn't mean you've got to make a lot of money, but you've got to control that balance between income and expenses. You know that. So we want to give you some tools to start that plan so that when you get out of here 4 years from now, you've got a plan and you're not like him trying to figure out what you're going to do. Gail?
Good morning, I'm Gail Anderson with NSU Career Services. What does Career Services do? We help our students to connect with employment opportunities, but there's a lot more to it than just that.
That's a wake-up call.
Everybody got that?
It was Google, I think. It was the Google, sorry.
But there's a lot more to it than just connecting you with the employment opportunities as you graduate. We want you to be prepared to know how to interview, to have that professional resume put together. And we have some really good tools and software we're going to show and showcase this morning. So we're going to go to the Career Services website. You can locate us underneath Campus Life. It's the last entry there. Are we moving? Here we go. And we'll go ahead and get onto the Career Services website. And what we're going to talk about first thing is our Focus Career Assessment. So you want to do this? And to get to our Focus Career Assessment, you're going to go to the left side of the page underneath Student and Alumni. And then click on Students and Alumni. Then go to the Focus Career Assessment. And here's for today, our username and password.
Okay, so we're
So
going
we're
to
going to log in. As you register with Career Services, you'll initially go to Register in Focus. And this has a lot of really good, fun tools that will help you if you're undecided about a major, if you're not sure about what you want to be when you complete your degree. Now's the time to get started in that profile. Complete your profile. And then there's an awful lot of information that will take you to your career assessment. You've probably done some of these in high school, some of it you did in Strengths Quest. But this is really good information because it connects you with not just a major, but your career interests.
lowercase f.
Lowercase f, right?
Yes.
Uppercase.
Everything will be lowercase, sorry.
Okay, there I was capitalizing.
Fresh.
So,
Does this cost you anything? No. So you have the ability to go in, log in, and review this information, complete your profile. And for this morning's presentation, we're going to go to explore the possibilities and what can I do with a major in. And go ahead and click continue. And we're going to use accounting for an example of a major. What this will allow, it will bring up the salaries on the right-hand side of this page aren't necessarily realistic. These salaries come from U.S. Department of Labor, so these are a compilation of nationwide salaries, and they're not necessarily entry-level salaries. So don't think that you're going to be making this much if you graduate with a degree in accounting. So we're going to use Cost Accountant for today, and here's some really good tools that will help you identify what job duties are necessary for this particular position, if this is what you want to go into for a career, the skills that employers look for in candidates, values, outlook, and earnings. There's also a little play video icon you can
What's
click
the
on.
difference between an accountant and an auditor? Basically, accountants keep track of the
Just go
money,
back
and
to
auditors
earnings.
check their work. But there's much more.
Yeah. So you can get an idea about a day in the life of a person in that particular field. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to the earnings section. We're talking about money today, so let's look at earnings. Now, once again, this is nationwide, so it's not necessarily what you can expect to be paid, although it's going to depend on the employer, what they're looking for in a candidate, but it is indicating $40,900. That's with a bachelor's degree. Oftentimes, employers want you to have additional education or even a professional degree. So there's $40,900, but let's get more realistic about what you can expect for a paycheck. So if you just go back to the Career Services website.
Just back.
I think you'll need to click X at the top. Okay, now we're going to go to Job Resources. And once again, if you look at the information, these tabs on here, excellent information. Take some time. If you don't have anything to do this evening, log into the Career Services website, go to Job Resources. Okay, you're already there. Now we're going to go to the NACE Salary Calculator Center. This is going to calculate what you can anticipate your salary to be being a graduate of Northeastern State University with a degree in accounting. So job seekers, begin your salary analysis. And then scroll, okay. You just fill out those, so, and it'll just take you right to it.
Okay.
So you want Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Your region, we can do Northeastern Oklahoma non-metropolitan, or you can do the Tulsa area. And if you'll start typing accounting, okay, now click on accountants, and that'll fill it in for you. And it's just fill in the boxes, basically, is what it is. So we're going to have a bachelor's degree, the last school attended in Oklahoma, and then the name of that school, Northeastern State University. Plug in the answers to these questions. Does anybody have any questions right now as Sue's filling this out? I have some $5 gift certificates to the Riverhawk shop if anybody would like one, but I need a question. Okay. Most students at graduation will have less than a year of experience in their field. So for a presentation, we're using less than a year. So here's a good idea of what you can expect to make as far as an employment offer, unless you have really good negotiation skills. $31,370. That's for within this area of Tahlequah, Oklahoma. If you selected Tulsa, you're going to get a little bit higher because of the cost of living. Okay, so if we can remember $31,370, that's going to be the number that we work with. And then go back to the website. The next link we're going to is calculate my take-home pay. That's going to be your net salary. You have a gross salary, $31,370. Then the government's going to come in and they're going to take taxes. Everybody heard about taxes? State and federal? Social Security?
Where is this?
Calculate my take-home pay.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got for the year 2010, state of Oklahoma, the gross was $31,370. Is that correct? That's the annual salary. Then we're going to do some deductions. Single and zero would probably apply to the majority of you. And you can use this tool anytime. It's on the Career Services website. Okay, when you graduate from Northeastern, the average student loan repayment per month, anybody want to take a guess? $600? $500?
$5,000.
Per month, $370. We're rounding it to $370. And when you do the calculations, over on the right of where you plug in your numbers, change that percent of gross pay to a fixed amount. Okay? When you graduate, what's the first thing you're going to do? More than likely, Buy a car. How much do you think your car payment's going to be? 200, 400. Let's go with 350. That's about average. And calculate. For someone making $31,370 a year, your monthly gross is $2,614. With those deductions that we pretty much have a good idea everybody's going to have, $1,200, $1,300 a month. That's what you're going to have left to pay Walmart, rent, groceries, car insurance. That's not an awful lot of money. But what we want to do today is make sure that you understand where you're going to be financially upon graduation. Now, yes, there are other majors that you can select in the focus that would give you different starting salaries. So play with this software, and then if you have any questions, yes?
I have a question. Can you select the major that's not part of the NSU that we have, the majors you have here?
Say that again?
Well, I want to become a game designer. I was wondering if I could look that up there, your website.
Yes, it's on there. All right. Any more questions?
Will it calculate like double majors?
It will not calculate double majors because employers, when they offer you a job, are going to pay you twice the salary for having double majors. Oftentimes, they're looking at, okay, well, what major is a good match for a major? And they're going to look at, okay, she has a double major, so there's room for negotiation on your salary. But they're not necessarily going to come in and double what they're paying. Yes. Yes?
With either of these websites, is there job availability? Will it show that?
Yes, the focus will tell you what you can anticipate as far as employment opportunities. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we update that every year. That information does come from the U.S. Department of Labor and the State Department of Labor. Do you have any education majors in here? Do you know what you're teaching? This is what the school districts are telling me. Yourself, okay, you understand the economy and the state budget and school cuts, right? If you will better market yourself, then you stand a much better opportunity of getting a job offer from our teacher fair. We host the job fairs on campus. But better market yourself. If you're looking at elementary education, then double up and do special ed, or elementary with early childhood, or vice versa. Therefore, if they have an opening for an elementary teacher and you can do both, they're going to hire you over someone who is limited to just one. Okay, does that make sense? I'm sorry? The question is, if you have loans and you get hired in the school district and you don't have to pay those loans back, that's not necessarily true. But if you go into math or science and you stay teaching in the state of Oklahoma, then I believe there's a $10,000 loan forgiveness that the state will offer you. That is for science and math teachers who stay in Oklahoma. They'll pay back $10,000 of your loan. Question?
Because there's so much competition in the job market now, and so many people are going to college, don't they really look at like their regular status of the job as being high school degree? Because I know that whenever my wife went to her job, she had a master's, and a lot of times she didn't get people with masters and all.
So you're saying employers are hiring the people with master's degrees? Definitely. Employers are looking at, because you're more marketable, then you stand a better opportunity of getting that job offer, assuming you have good interviewing skills. And that's another thing that we offer our students is one-on-one mock interviews. So if you're going to be applying for an internship, a part-time job, and you don't have any interviewing skills, you have no clue what to be prepared for, register with Career Services. What does it cost? Right now, the registration fee, if you register for services while you're in school, and it's good for 1 year after graduation, it's $10. Best $10 investment you will ever make in your life. Or you can choose to do a $25 registration. How do you register with Career Services? Online, NSU website, click on Career Services, and then register, pay your fee, fill out your profile, you're good to go. Okay? Any questions? I'd love to visit with you guys all day. You've been great. Thank you.
Eileen King, Collections Manager.
Good morning. How many of you have done your FAFSA? How many of you know what a FAFSA is? The ones that have done it. Okay, also, where's my class? Hi, guys. Yay. Okay. See, they're the special ones that have to endure me this week, twice this week. Anyway, okay, back to this. The FAFSA is something that you do to be eligible for financial aid. Well, who's eligible for financial aid? When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about scholarships, grants, and loans. And everybody in this room is eligible for something for financial aid. So what they go by in financial aid is you are a dependent child, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. And I know I said child, but you're a dependent on your parents until you are 24, you are married, or you have a dependent child that you support 50% or more. So when I show you the next information, it will be a dependent student on their parents' tax return. So how many people have done their student information sheet? Okay, you have to do that to be awarded. So then how many have gotten the email that they've been awarded their financial aid? Excellent. How many are going to have to take out loans? Okay, so to get loans now, you have to go to this website that's on the screen, studentloans.gov. You have to do your entrance counseling, and you have to fill out the master promissory note. That master promissory note will be good for 10 years, but you have to fill that out. You also have to go on and accept the loans before you'll get anything. So what are the different types of loans? There's two types of Stafford loans. There's a subsidized and an unsubsidized. The subsidized means you do not pay any interest until you get out of school or you drop below 6 hours. The unsub is the type that means that you will start paying the interest back as soon as the money is dispersed to the school. You can have it roll into the principal amount, and it will just keep accruing until you get out of school. So what are you eligible for? Well, as a dependent student, you are eligible for this amount. And as you can see, each year it goes up just a little bit. And this is the sub and unsub together. But look at the bottom line. That's just the principal amount. So when you get out of 4 years of college and you've taken out the maximum you can in loans, you're going to owe $27,000, and that's not the interest that's accrued. So as Gail was saying, what happens next? If you take $30,000, you're going to owe $372 a month for 10 years. So it's very important that you look at the amount that you're borrowing and decide how much you really have to have. And that's what we can do over in the business office. We can talk to you about that, because if you're awarded the $27.50 a semester, you don't have to take all of that out. You can take part of it out, but you want to make sure that you also can pay your tuition and fees. So do you have any questions? Not a one. All right, well, Sue's going to give you a quiz now. Woohoo, we'll see. Not a one. I didn't have any giveaways, that's it.
Okay, have a short quiz. I'm going to need for your help using your cell phones. This is a lot like American Idol. If you wouldn't mind texting your responses. Some of these are informational for us. Some of them I need to know just how much you have picked up on what we've been trying to share. We're not capturing your cell phone data anywhere, and standard text rates do apply. So going into the first question, I consider my financial plan to pay for college to be strong. Everything is in place. Okay, it may not work as planned, but I'm pretty confident. Probably be some bumps, it might work. And I'm going to wing it semester to semester. And if you would just take a few moments, send me some responses to that. Okay, looks like most folks are coming in on that. I'm pretty confident. I've got a plan, might be a few bumps. That's a great thing. Having some idea of how you're going to pay for your expenses as you go through will keep you from bumping into that magical wall where you don't know how to go forward. But things do happen, life happens even while you're here at Northeastern, and if something happens to your plan, please go by financial aid. Those advisors are there to help you work through any of those emergencies that may come up and change that plan. Second question, in a regular semester, what's the last date you can drop a class or officially withdraw and receive a refund? Never. If you start a class, you owe for it. 12th week of school, 10th business day, anytime before the last day of class. We're asking this one because there is some confusion about withdrawing and when you're going to get money back and when you don't. When you go to withdraw from a class, a lot of times the focus is on the academics, and they're going to talk about when you can withdraw without having a bad grade show up on your transcript. The last day to withdraw from a class, drop a class, and receive a refund is the 10th business day. So those of you who did C, you are correct. The 12th week of school is the last day to do the W and not have any bad grade on your transcript. If I stop going to class, they'll drop me from the classes, adjust my bill and transcript. Yes or no? True or false? Okay. It is false. Most of you got that correct. There is something this semester called an administrative withdrawal. Your instructors do have the opportunity to withdraw you from a class if you don't show up, but they aren't required to do so. So if you want to ensure it doesn't go on your transcript, you're going to need to take action on your own. And again, nothing's going to adjust your bill after this Friday. I'm a full-time student, receive financial aid. How many hours do I have to pass each semester to stay in good standing with financial aid regulations? 15 hours, 6 hours, 10, or 12? While those answers are coming in, there is one other limit that you need to be aware of with financial aid. 156 hours is the maximum that can be funded. So if you change majors or you drop a lot of classes, you might bump into that 156. So do understand that there is an upper limit. 12 hours is correct. If I have financial aid or scholarships, when do I get my money? After the second week of school? Throughout the semester, around midterm, or all of the above? Okay, answers are coming in strongly for all of the above. That's correct. After the second week of school is when most people will be getting their financial aid scholarships and grants applied to their accounts, which, so you'll know, is this Friday. So Monday, if you have funds coming back to you, they'll be on your green card on Monday. Around midterm, if you have OLAP or OTAG, those funds don't come in until then. And if you didn't get all of your paperwork in, or your employer is sending something in a little bit late, we apply every Monday. So you could be getting money throughout the semester. The most I can spend on my talent charge account each semester is $800, $400, or $200. There is no requirement that you actually spend anything on the talent charge account. This is there for your convenience. You can opt out of it if you choose to. $800 is the correct amount if you are a full-time student in a regular semester. $400 if you're part-time. And during the summers, those amounts cut in half. So it is $400 for full-time and $200 for part-time. The cheapest way to get a textbook at the Riverhawk shop. Buy a used book, buy a new book using price match, rent, or I don't plan to buy a textbook. Excuse me. While those are coming in, I want to mention that the most expensive of those is the I don't plan to buy a textbook, because if you don't have access to the textbooks, you are likely to fail the class, in which case you're going to pay for it twice, and that runs the cost way on up there. Renting is the least expensive, let me put it that way. I have received and activated my NSU green card, so I am ready for any refund from NSU. True or false, yes or no? Even if you aren't on financial aid, you should have gotten your NSU green card. You will need to activate it, because any money coming from Northeastern will come on that. Okay, 29% need to do something with the green card. Eileen's going to talk a little bit more about green cards in just a few moments, particularly for those of you who haven't activated. How many years will I be at NSU if I pass 12 hours each semester? 6, 5.5, 5 years, or 4.5 years? Remembering that every year you stay at Northeastern or in college adds to your total expense, not only in the additional living costs that are related to getting your education, but in the lost salary for that extra year or two. If you only pass 12 hours each semester, you're going to be here 5.5 years. And the last question, so we'll know where you are as far as financial strength goes. I currently make monthly payments for credit cards only, vehicle and insurance, mortgage, more than one of these, and none of these. And please excuse that typo. And with that, I'm going to step down and give this back to Eileen.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about the green card. How many of you have received the green card? How many of you have activated it? Excellent. Okay, there's two ways to do this. You can leave the money on the MasterCard debit card, which is the green card, or you can have it ACH to your bank account. How many have sent it to your bank account? Okay. It's very important that you do this because, as Sue said, this just doesn't deal with your financial aid. This deals with, let's say you are in a class and your parents have already paid for your tuition and you drop the class. Well, if you drop it this week, you're going to get a refund for it, and that's going to go on the NSU green card. There will not be any checks that are given out to the students, so it's very important that you do that. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is that this is a debit card. So when you go to Walmart or wherever, you have to hit cancel, credit, and then sign your name. We also have an ATM here on campus, and we have one on the Broken Arrow campus. That is the Higher One NSU Green Card ATM. And when you go to that one, it's by Chick-fil-A. Does everybody know where Chick-fil-A is? Was there a no? In the basement. I had one yesterday too. I didn't realize that they didn't know. It's in the basement of the UC, University Center. And that's the one that is the NSU Green Card ATM. You can go there and it doesn't cost you any money to get money out of that account. So, but the main thing I want to say about this is it is a bank account. So when you're activating your card, make sure that you put on there that you want like a low balance text. And you will actually get a text from the company that says your balance is this amount. So it's really important that you use their features that they have. The next thing we want to talk about is, what about the people that don't have financial aid and don't have a plan? Well, this is the bad part that somebody has to talk about, so I guess I get to do that. At NSU, your tuition is due before classes start. If it's not paid at that time, then there are late fees that are going to be applied and a hold that's going to be applied to your account. If you're in the dorms, you can break those payments into 4 equal payments. The first one was due August 15th, the second September 15th, October 15th, and November 15th. If you don't pay by that time, you're going to get a late fee and a hold for that also. So it's very important that if you don't have financial aid, that you come to the business office and sit down with some of us in the business office and talk to us about your account so that we can help you with that. The other thing is, what does a hold do? A hold prevents you from enrolling in a future semester, and you're not allowed to get an official transcript. And here's the last thing I'm going to talk to you about today, and this is the beautiful parking decal. And the biggest lie at NSU is they can't find me if I park on campus because I'm not going to register my vehicle. Well, guess what? We can find you. It might take us a while, but we will find you. Even if the car's registered in your parents' name, if it has a license plate on it, we're going to find you sooner or later. And one of the stories that I like to tell is the one where the father called me at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, I just got this statement. What is this $600 for? And I said, parking fines. And he said, will you be in your office? And I went, yes. And of course, I'm scared that he's going to come over and get me. And so about 15 minutes later, this young man walks into my office. His hair is all askew. And he says, I think you just talked to my dad. What do I need to do about my parking fines? So this parking decal is $14. A parking ticket is $20, and that's the cheapest one. So it's very important that you come to the admin building where the cashiers are and buy a parking decal and then park in the right places. Got any questions? Wow, guys, come on. One question? Okay. Yes. Like out of the 800 and out of our flex points? Yes. You can go to the ID office in the case building and check there, or you can come to the business office and we can tell you how much you have. Okay? Any other questions? Yes.
So, you know how you're talking about the tuition deadlines if you're living on campus in the dorm, that there's those 4 deadlines that you did quarterly? Say you got a scholarship. You know how you said they didn't go in effect until, like, you might not get until maybe this Friday, the second week? What if the scholarship you're getting is to take care of your tuition, and if you miss that first deadline, they're still taking care of it? Okay.
Yeah, well, we don't put late fees on. We don't even start until after September 13th. We don't even look at anyone's account. So what's going to happen is financial aid will apply Saturday morning, and then we're going to send out a statement on the 31st of August to your permanent address, or you can go on web services and to the NSU website to web services under My NSU, and you can actually look at your bill there. So it's real important that you guys get used to looking at that. Now, of course, if you don't want to go there and you want to come meet all the wonderful women and guys in the business affairs office, then please come over because we'll be happy to work with you guys.
Where's your office at?
It's in the administration building right across the street on the main floor. Yes?
When does the laptop apply?
I'm sorry?
When does the laptop apply?
Well, it'll be sometime mid-October. We're not sure when it will come in, but it usually comes in the mid part of the semester. Yes?
When do I get my GI Bill check?
You need to come over to the business office and talk to Janet Robinson.
We still have about 5 minutes. Gail has something she wants to add.
I wanted to add something about these parking tickets. Had a young lady worked in the office. She was my intern for a semester. She graduated. She was applying for jobs. She was getting the interviews. She was this close to getting job offers, but do you know what happened to her? The employer wanted her to provide them with an official transcript. She couldn't access, she could not obtain an official transcript. Do you know why? She had $1,300 in parking tickets. She didn't have $1,300 to pay for those parking tickets. To this day, she's not paid. She's been out of school about 4 years. No transcript, no official transcript. So don't put yourself in that position. Pay that $1,400, park legally. We want you to graduate. We want you to be successful. Have that official transcript and get that job of your dreams.
All right, hang on, just a few more minutes. I want to have, do you have any questions? We have one question up here. Any questions for Gail, Eileen, or Sue? Which question?
If you don't pay your first part, is it like increase or does it stay at $20?
It stays at $20, but that holds on your. You want to make sure and get that paid. Yeah.
What other questions? Anything else? Question over there. Say that again.
Each scholarship is a little different, so it's really important that you get to know Janet Robinson in the Business Affairs Office because she's our guru for the scholarships and GI Bill and any type of scholarship or fee waiver type thing. So you really need to come over and talk to Janet Robinson. She'll be able to tell you that.
All right, if you ever have any questions, Business Affairs is in the administration building, and feel free to come in and talk to them. Career Services in Haskell Hall, and of course the Office of Student Financial Services in the foyer of the Case building on the second floor. If you have those surveys, those pieces of paper that we gave you, please give those to your peer instructor. Go ahead and give them to them now. All right, when you've given those to your peer instructors, have a great day. See you.